Hello. So this one, you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit because this is only my second D-Arts figure, and I'm not very knowledgeable about them. But I know my figures, and I'm in love with Megaman X, so I figured I'd do a review. This is the D-Arts, excuse me, the D-Arts made by Bandai Megaman X Comic-Con exclusive. Woo! What is exclusive about this is the figure, from best I can tell, looks exactly the same. The way they have them posed in the case at Comic-Con kind of makes it seem like there might be two different sizes, but I really think it's just the way they're posed. But this is the exact same mold as the other Mega Man X they did, except now he's got shiny blue armor, and I gotta say, it's like really eye-catching. When you see him in the case next to the other ones, there's no doubt which one you'd prefer, you know, unless you got something against shiny plastic, and then clearly this review isn't for you. So there's a lot of detail in what is a character without much detail. They've put a lot into Mega Man here. He comes with a few different faces. I'll show you that in a minute. Super posable, and little things like this I love about this figure. It's like this bottom like jewel on here. It's clear plastic with red painted underneath, like red metallic paint and a clear plastic coat. And it makes this little jewel in his feet really pop. And they do the same in his helmet. And in his blaster, he comes with two like nozzles for his blaster. One that you can plug stuff into, and one that just sits there, and it's got another little red jewel. Also the center of his helmet. So all that stuff really makes him look awesome. There are, though, problems with this figure that I've had so far. As far as detail goes, everything looks on point, but there's a big fat seam in his helmet that I cannot get to go away. Now, the reason there's a seam to begin with is that his helmet comes off, and you rip off his face. And that's how you replace his different faces. So you have Mega Man's blown apart head there. Stand, damn it. And there's his head. That comes out. He looks a lot funnier there. And there's his empty helmet. So you plug in the new faces there, and you put his head back together. But unfortunately, when you do that, he's got this big seam that, despite how you squeeze, just won't go away. Not a big deal, but I mean, it's pretty noticeable. So he comes with different hands also, and his shoulders and elbows are pretty tight. His shoulder joint is really tight. His wrist is a little iffy. Well, there you go. There's that. For as tight as the joints are, they kind of like to pop out too, which is kind of weird. Not a big deal, but the biggest problem I have with loose joints is this right here, his hips. These legs are so bulky, and they're tiny little ball joints in there that they don't seem like they can really support the weight. For the most part, when you stand them up, it's not an issue. That doesn't really come into play. But if you're going to pose them, I bought like some stands that will hold them in the air. If you want to do certain poses and stuff, you might have a really hard time getting them to stay. They're not so loose that it's impossible, but you're going to have to really work with them a lot before the joints will stay in place. But not too bad. So it's a minor complaint, but I mean it's kind of a significant one because you need them. So these are his 3 bullets. These are somewhat posable on themselves. It comes with this little like blast splash thing, and then these turn on themselves. They come apart. You don't want to do that, but they come apart. This comes out for some reason. I'm not really sure why. So you can have like a line or do something like that. That's pretty much the extent of that. This is oh, forgot to show off this packaging. So this is the packaging. Nice and blue and shiny, just like he is. It's got the Comic-Con International there. Him on the side. These are all actual photos of the figure. So he comes with these 3 faces, and I'll show you those in the package in a moment. Let me get this to focus. There you go. Pretty cool. It's about the 3 expressions you would expect out of Mega Man. I don't think you want a happy Mega Man X. It's really more of a, excuse me, regular old Mega Man's bag. So I'm glad they didn't really get goofy with him. Mega Man's, I've always considered a more serious character, and Mega Man X, I should say. And I think they've represented him pretty well in this figure. So this is the little case he comes with here. This it's packaged backwards right now, but that's his secondary nozzle for his cannon. This one's got a big hole in it to plug things in. This one doesn't. It's got a little red jewel, and you can kind of see it there. Comes with 2 fists and 2 open hands. There's his 2 other faces. He comes with an alternate arm, so that if you want to put 2 hands in him, you don't have to have a blaster cannon. You can have just an arm. There's a mold difference in between the 2. They don't vary much, but there's a difference between the 2 arms. One takes a fist and one takes the nozzle. And then there's this thing. And this is the part that I'm not so hot on. Well, I've lost everything here. Lost his other nozzle. Oh, there it goes. I'll get it later. This blast thing here, this is like what I was really digging, because this thing, you know, it's this charge shot. And Mega Man X has a charge shot. It's awesome. I'm constantly charging in Mega Man X because I always want to see that charge shot come out. But the problem is that it's really bulbous on the end, and it's end heavy. It's not a heavy piece of plastic, but given all the leverage that's on it, it's pretty heavy. So it puts a lot of stress on his joints, and he doesn't always like to hold poses, as you can see. Now, like I said, you can work with him and you can find a pose that'll work. But for the most part, you may have some trouble. It's not perfect. It's really good, but it's not perfect. I feel like they maybe could make the joints a little tighter. I don't know. There are, you know, variances and whatnot. Maybe I just got a looser one than normal, but that's his charge shot, and he's pretty awesome. I gotta say, I'm really digging Mega Man. I don't have any of the other ones. I did pre-order the powered up armor version. If he's much different, I'll do a review on him too. He does look quite different than this one. I've seen them all in the display case at the show, and again, this one seems bigger for some reason. I'm sure it's not. I'm almost certain that it's just the painted plastic, but he seems like he's a little bit taller than the other ones. But that'd be nice. I mean, I'm all about mold exclusives. You know, paint exclusives, and you know, it's nice, but it's not that big of a deal. If you're gonna mold a new piece of plastic for me, that's what I'm talking about. So I just finished the video and I forgot to do a size comparison, so I figured I'd just shove it in here somewhere in the middle. Here he is next to the D-Arts Goku. They're roughly the same size. I mean, I'm guessing they're in the same scale. Who knows how tall Mega Man is compared to Goku, but so I'm gonna hesitate to say to scale, but they're roughly the same size. You can tell that that they didn't go one way or the other. They basically stuck with the same thing. And then here he is also next to Marvel Universe Cable, and he's 3 3/4 inch. And you can get a good idea of what you're working with there. So he's not very big. He's smaller than I thought he was going to be, actually, but I'm not really concerned about size. Everything is all out of scale anyway. There's nothing in scale anymore. Like, I can't keep to one scale if my life depended on it. There's too many cool figures out there. What's important, though, is the detail, and Mega Man's got it in spades. So I'm super happy with him. Anyway, there's your size comparison. Now, as you were, sir. So anyway, lots of detail, like I said, for a Mega Man figure, and he is served well by it. I'm really digging this figure. The only dilemma I've had right now so far, aside from the loose hips, which are manageable, is what pose to keep him in. I feel like this is one I'm going to take down like every week and pose him differently, because he's super poseable, and Mega Man's a badass. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Yes, that is it. This is the Mega Man D-Arts exclusive for Comic-Con made by Bandai, and he's pretty rad. Go get him. Later.